Well, he finally turned broadside. We were doing a little bit of live streaming this last weekend, and there was a couple of things that I noticed. One is that a lot of the mule deer that typically would be in a certain location were not there anymore. And I actually figured out a reason why this was happening. So first off, if you ever see one of these in the area, make sure you take them down as soon as possible, because these will prevent you from having mule deer or animal of that specific species in the area. That is, of course, the mountain lion. These things are very territorial, and they will spook pretty much everything in the entire area away. And that should take him down. Kind of a tough shot because he was behind that tree, but that's alright. And that was a massive gold. 38.8. That was almost a diamond. And a dark red. So that actually might come back as a legendary. But as soon as you take the mountain lion out of the picture, then other animals are going to want to start moving back in. And they can feel calm and actually drink in peace. You know, that's kind of a solid bull elk right there, and he's about 130 out. I think we're going to take him down with the bow, because he's so broadside that I really don't want to pass up this opportunity. 119 will work. Check out the wind. And hold it right. Oh, that looked really good, actually. As soon as I was about to spot him, he piled up, so I guess that answers our question on whether or not that was a good shot, because, yeah, he's piled up. Pretty nice looking bull here. I'm gonna say he should be like a 270s, which could make gold potentially. 320 and double lung liver at 132. So how far did he miss? About like 30 points off from being a gold. But that's not a bad sized bull, you know. And we're gonna take him down. But another thing as to why you're probably not finding animals is, well, particular mule deer, is say you have a specific pattern that you take every single time when you come to a certain location, and well, eventually when you come there, you're gonna stop seeing animals, but there's a reason for this. So typically I'll have a mule deer zone on this side, right? So I can spawn over here and it's fine because I can run all the way down to here and see the zone from here. But sometimes I'll get a zone on this side, 9 o'clock in the morning. So that means when I spawn in here and say the mule deer are right here, there's a good chance that they're already going to be spooked and I'll never even see them or know that they're there. So what we had to do basically for this situation is we set up a tent way up on this mountain, and now I can run down to here. So that way, once I get from this point here, I can see anything on this closed zone here and the far zone here, depending on where they're at. Another reason why you're probably not finding mule deer is maybe you're getting a little bit too close to the areas that they're at. Now, in this particular place here, we can see right now, but we're 400 yards away. Now, if we're over here, we won't be able to see because this grass is really tall and we can't see that far. It's like the grass is so thick you can't see into it. So once you get to here, you can see basically right now that you aren't even going to know that they're there. Unless you happen to come past them and accidentally spot them, a lot of times you won't even be able to spot them. So basically the key is you want to be right at about 390 yards away, and at 390 yards you can actually see through the tall grass. This is a prime example of exactly what I'm talking about. You see how you can't see anything in this grass here? But there's a giant buck, and that's him right there. You can just see his rack, but now you can't see him at all. I can't even spot him at this point. So unless we were exactly 390 yards away, I would not know that this buck is here. Because look, that's a giant buck and he's 220 yards away, but we just cannot see him. So right there you can see we're about 410 yards away right now, and we can see all the way through the grass. We can see pretty much everything that's in this area. Although there's nothing really special, we can still see whatever's there. It appears we have another mountain lion out here. He's a pretty nice mythical as well, so we're going to take him down at about 270. Got him. I mean, look at how this mountain lion ended up. About like 280 yards out, and he just crumbled. So let's swing by and pick him up. That's going to be a 38.10 double lung hard shot at 273. But hopefully now the mule deer can come back in peace. Another reason why you're probably not finding big muley bucks is because your tent might be a little bit too close to the zone that that particular buck is at. That's a massive buck out there, max weight buck, and 256 That's going to be a beautiful muley. Now, here's the thing though. Before, I actually had a tent set up over there, and I still do have a tent set up over there. But if I spawn in right there, and if I'm too close this way, I will not see this buck. And the reason is, you have to be at least 250 yards away from where the zone is. Otherwise, the buck will not spawn in. Now, I was there this morning, and I had my tent set up 50 yards closer, and that buck didn't spawn up. Okay, so here's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Right here is where that buck just was. He was 270 yards away. But because my tent this morning was right there, 80 yards closer, it prevented this buck from spawning in. So he would not come back until we actually had to move our tent back this way, 50 yards further away. And now he came back. Obviously he disappeared because the zone ended. But when we come back tomorrow, he should be right over there. Alright, so it's the next morning now, and this is basically what we're going to see. Now that we moved our tent 50 yards further away, we have a stack of mule deer right here at about 250. That buck there is a really respectable muley. He's probably like a 230, 240s buck. But then over here, we have this massive buck. That's a max weight buck, and 256 on the estimate. That's going to be an absolute giant muley right there. He's about 280 out. We don't exactly have a shot, so what we might do is just take a shot in the air with a bow and try and get him to turn. Actually, I don't have the bow on us, so see, I'm trying to get his attention, so maybe he might notice that and turn before he's he doesn't even care. Well, he finally turned broadside. And we're finally going to be able to take the shot. And I think he just piled up. See, there's actually quite a few mule deer over here. We got a somewhat decent ram. I think it's level 3. Trying to find another buck, but I don't know where he went. Ah, I see him. I see him. Look at that. That's so cool. There's actually 3 bucks there. Wow. So there's 3 bucks in this grass that we can hardly even see at this point, but you can just see the top of their racks going up over the top of that grass. That's the only thing you can see on these bucks. I think I see him right there. Cool. We're gonna be able to take down this buck. It's a real decent level 3. And a nice drop shot on him. There goes the other buck. Oh my god. I don't know if I let him too much or what. I think that should be him. Yeah, that's definitely going to be him. So we'll pick him up. 256, and we double lunged him at 193 yards out. He's a gray, and he is a max weight buck. But that was a beautiful muley buck that never appeared until we moved our tent. And even during the stream, I ran around this place a couple different times, and there wasn't even a somewhat decent buck in this area. And now we got this giant muley. And I don't think we hit the other ones, but I know we dropped this one. I know we hit a doe, which that one might go down. But the deer, well, those 2 bucks, I really don't know like how we missed them so many times. I don't think I've ever missed a deer that many times. But double lung heart shot on this one at 275 yards, 212 on him. So, I mean, yeah, we're right on. We're right on the money here. But another thing is, sometimes mule deer zones do move, so you got to go to a different spot. You can be in the same area, but you just got to go to a different spot, maybe like 250 yards, go around, make a circle in the particular area, and eventually you will find where they're at. But that's not a bad buck out there at 380. Then I also found this guy. That's a max weight bighorn sheep at 350. He's perfectly broadside, so I actually might want to go for him first, unless we go for this bedded buck out here at 390 and 360. Okay, we might do that. We might try and hit this one at 390 and then try and take down that bighorn at 360. So we'll back up a little bit and then go forward and back up a little bit, and that should be good. So 390, we'll have to hold a bit high, But that looked good, and let's get on this Bighorn. 360. That should have been good as well. And there's another one there, but I think that's just a 3. I probably could have taken... I mean, yeah, our buck is definitely smoked. I figured that. But we might have gotten 2. Very well could have gotten 2 of those bucks there. You never know. And this actually goes back to whatever angle you come to a certain spot. If you have a certain pattern that you keep taking, try a different pattern for once. Try and come in at that spot from a different angle and see just what it produces. Because sometimes, I was like, that looks like a buck, but that's our buck that we piled up already. But yeah, try it from a different angle because sometimes that can produce really well. So here's our buck, and the Bighorn should be somewhere nearby as well. And we double lung heart shot him. He's going to score 217. That was a 400-yard double lung heart shot with a 30-06. Ooh, that's a pretty nice shot there. And we might as well pick up our ram. That's going to be a shoulder blade left lung at 360, 148 on him. So yeah, we tucked it in there pretty nicely, right below his jaw there. That's a solid ram as well. Well, I think I found our other buck here. He's about 200 out, and we're going to try and take him down. Maybe get like a heart shot, if at all possible. There's no way we're going to get a heart shot out of that, but potentially we could catch lung. I mean, I could have held for heart, but we probably would have hit the, well, the hill in front of him. And for surely we wouldn't get him that way. Good thing I held high, because we would have hit the hill. But we actually didn't miss the heart by much. That's not bad. A 200 score on him. And notice, these 2 bucks here did not really come by the water. I mean, they're sort of near the water, but it's not like we're right on top of the water. We're about 250 to 300 yards away from the water. Now, for this next part, I'm going to show you kind of my favorite spots for mule deer and basically what times to hunt them at. There's a couple different spots. I'll hunt drink zones, rest zones, and eating zones all throughout the day, basically. So that's the good thing about this. You can spread different times out and just hunt really hard all the way around the clock. And eventually, you'll get lucky enough to find one. So let's just start off with the top left corner of the map here. The Swiss Valley. This is going to be the Bighorn sheep outpost. I have a tent set up here, and the mule deer that I have over here, they drink over here from 9 o'clock until 10:30, and then from here from 9 o'clock until 10:30. So I have a tripod set up here and a tent set up right here. That's a really good spot. There's also mule deer here. Sometimes I hunt here, sometimes I don't, but 9 o'clock in the morning, it's kind of like a hit or miss. You could get really lucky and see like a giant here or not. This spot here is also really good too, 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock in the morning on that spot. Then we'll go to Cougar Watch. Cougar Watch is probably like one of my second favorite spots for mule deer. But I usually hunt from this lodge here, and I have a zone here. But lately, I realized that if I have a tent on this side, then I can actually run down here and discover anything on this side and on this side without spooking them before they disappear. But 9 o'clock in the morning is this spot too. The next spot is over here at Climber Outpost, and this is... I would have to say that this is probably my #1 spot. Well, #1 tied for #2, I guess you could say that. But Climber Outpost right here. And at this spot, the good thing about this spot is you can actually spawn in right from this lodge. Even if you have mule deer here, you're still going to be about 280 yards away, so you're not going to spook anything. But what you want to do is actually swing wide to the left and then come in from this point here. That way when you spook them out, they run this way or they run this way. What you could do also is you could swing all the way back this way and then come in from this point here. That way you can see all the way down to the zone. But they drink from 9:30 until 10:30 right here. Mule deer rest and they eat. Not really, well, they kind of rest and eat sort of in the same area. But you can go all the way around here and you'll find mule deer from 10:30 until 1400. I typically hunt them here, but sometimes my zones disappear. So yeah, from 10 o'clock till 1400 here, here, here. All this area is really good for mule deer. Another good spot is right over here, which is by the San Juan Outpost. This spot, I have a tent set up right here, and I have a tripod right here. Mule deer drink typically from here till 9, well, from 9 o'clock until 10:30 in the morning. Sometimes they drink over on this side too though, so that's the good thing about this. And also this spot here you can hunt during rest zone too. You can hunt mule deer from here from 10 o'clock until 14. They rest and they eat all around here, which I do have a zone right here from 10 o'clock until 14. This spot here it used to be one of my favorite spots, but lately it's not so great anymore. I really like it because I can spot animals from way up high here. If you come in from this lodge here, run down this hill or mountain I guess, and put a tent right here, maybe like 50 yards away from this lookout, then you can watch all the way down from this whole point here. You can cover this whole point of this lake down here. But usually 9 o'clock in the morning they drink here too. Lately, I haven't really had much action. This is, however, where we did take down a level 6 hard that scored 300 right out of this tree stand right here, though. This spot here is kind of a hit or miss. I really don't know if it's good. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not. But they do drink here from 9:30 until 10:30 in the morning. And there's an outpost here, Black Bear Outpost. I have a tent set up right here, and I run right down the mountain to right here. Then this spot here, kind of hit or miss too. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not. But 9 o'clock until 10:30 right here, which is just south of the Black Bear Outpost. Sometimes they drink here too, and they rest over here, which is from 10 o'clock until 14. You'll find mule deer and elk in this area, which I definitely recommend checking it out because you never know what you're going to find. This area here, I really think it's like a hit or miss. Sometimes I see them, sometimes I don't. Sometimes there's like during the stream actually, we took down 2 bucks here, and then a pronghorn, I think. This spot here, I've never seen mule deer here, so I wouldn't really recommend coming here unless, however, you have mule deer on your map, which you could. This spot here is a really good spot too, which is kind of by the starting outpost, the Plains Bison outpost. But the key with this spot here, the mule deer drink from 9:30 till 10:30 in the morning. But if you have your tent too close here, then they will not come into this spot. So you have to have your tent at least 250 yards away from this particular zone right here. I have had mule deer here, but I've never really seen anything decent. Just a bunch of 5 mediums, but they were all pre-patched, I guess. So they were just small forests, basically. However, what is good about this spot is when you're on multiplayer and say it's not exactly drink time for a mule deer, what I like to do is I'll either come from Plains Bison Outpost or the Chipeta Outpost, and I'll just go along this coast here, all the way along up these hills here. And there's all kinds of areas where mule deer eat here, elk eat here, and turkey eat here, and it's just pretty much loaded. In fact, we got our rare albino Plains Bison right here. So yeah, or sometimes I'll come from here, loop around, and cover all these areas here. This is really good areas to hunt. This is the area that we hunted today, which is next to the Bending Forest. This is a really good spot, and we also got our OG Diamond Muley right out of a tree stand that was right here. But I have a tent set up here, and I have a tree stand set up right here. Mule deer drink right here from 9:30 till 10 o'clock, and then I have a tent here and a tripod here. This is where we took down the big 256 buck this morning right here, and they drink from 9:30 till 10 o'clock as well. And then there's also a zone here from 9 o'clock until 10:30, which this is interesting. This zone starts at 9 o'clock, but these ones start at 9:30. So you could have 2 different zones at 2 different times on your map, and you just don't know. Then over here, I think this spot here it's a decent spot. It's definitely worth checking out. Right next to the Wild Turkey Outposts, I have a tent set up right here and a tree stand right here. So I'll run to this spot. Mule deer drink from 9:30 till 10:30 here, and same thing over here. But you can cover this whole lake from this tree stand right here. This spot here is pretty good too. It's kind of like a hit or miss though. You can go there really fast. You can literally just fast travel because they drink on this opposite side here. But I have seen them drink. This is something to keep in mind. I have seen them drink on this side. And in order to see them on this side, you cannot spawn here. You'll have to spawn somewhere over here and come in from the back side, and then you will see them drink here. So you never know. But they drink from 9:30 till 10 o'clock here as well. This spot here is worth checking out. They drink from 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock, so you got a little bit of time to hunt, but you got to get there early. Go here, check right away, nothing here, go to the next spot, check, nothing here, go to the next spot, check. 9 till 10:30. Now this spot is kind of a new spot where I've seen a couple of bucks here, but nothing too exciting. So they do drink here from 9:30 till 10 o'clock. This was one of my favorite spots, but then lately I haven't really had much action here, just a couple of decent 4s, but from 9:30 till 10 o'clock. So I have a tent here, tripod here, and a tree stand here. They drink right here from 9:30 till 10 o'clock. Then this spot here is sometimes good, sometimes not good. They drink from 9:30 till 10 o'clock here. Yeah, right here. 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock actually. So there's a little spot here too that they could drink sometimes too, from 9:30 till 10 o'clock. The thing is, to be able to find the spots, sometimes you don't know when they drink. So you just got to start at 9 o'clock. What I do is I'll just start at 9:30. That way I don't have to go back and change the time. And that leaves us with, I think, only 2 more spots here, which is going to be Dinosaur Hill. I've really never seen many mule deer here, but I've seen them up here. They do eat up here from 10 o'clock until 14. I've had some really good luck with big muleys up here eating from 10 o'clock till 14. Same thing over here. They eat over here from 10 o'clock until 14. So you got to check those areas out. And mule deer drinking, this is usually a pretty good spot from 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock. I've definitely had tons of action with muleys here. Good muley bucks here. Then we have this spot here. This spot is... it's up there, but it's not just really good for mule deer. It's good for elk, it's good for black bear, it's good for mountain lions, it's good for everything. It's kind of like the gold mine. But the problem with this is a lot of people hunt it. And if people hunt it a lot, then the odds of you getting something good is not really that great. But when it is good, it's good. So anyways, I have a tent right here, a tripod here, and the mule deer drink usually from here till 9:30, from 9:30 till 10 o'clock, and over here from 9:30 till 10 o'clock. Sometimes they drink here too, but sometimes not. But what's also good about this spot is there's a lot of feed zones in this area here. So all throughout this whole opening here and all the way back here, mule deer, elk, black bear, and mountain lion all feed in this area here. So yeah, you can have a lot of luck, which is why I have a tent set up here. And then I just come along the back of this mountain here, and I can glass this whole area here to see if there's anything decent down in that area. I think that leaves us with one spot left, which is actually my all-time favorite spot. Well, it's tied for number 1. It's definitely tied for number 1. And apparently I left some turkey decoys there too, because it's a really good spot for turkeys too. It's an excellent spot. One time I came here at 1700 at night, and there was probably like 20 elk here. There was probably like 10 or 15 turkey, about 15 black bear, and even like 5 or 6 mountain lion. It's just stacked with animals. But anyways, for a mule deer, I have a tent set up right here, and the mule deer drink from 9:30 until 10:30. They usually drink in this back corner here. So I used to have a tripod here, but it seems that disappeared on us here. Anyways, yeah. Go right here, 9:30 till 10 o'clock, and this is my favorite spot right here. Alright guys, well I think that's going to be a good way to end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.